Hello and welcome to Chaotic Neutral Games. It's Numenera time again!
Hooray!
Woo! First things first, I've been watching for the last hour a load of road workers set up outside my house. So if this cuts off early, that's why.
This is the drilling.
Otherwise, how y'all doing?
Yeah,
Good.
pretty good.
Yeah, good for Monday.
Chugging along?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I am tired, but we'll get through it. We'll work it out.
We believe.
Yes. The thing is, I've got to remember what happened last week, and
We've no
I
idea.
don't do that yet. I do that later, don't I? Because right now, oh yes, we're back. right now,
we've got 3 minutes of revision.
It's like school all over again.
I rarely have a plan for any game I play, so this is honestly a luxury that I've got some stuff written down.
What is plan?
Yeah. Well, you don't need to plan. You're players. You can just bullshit whatever. I've got to make up the rest of the stuff.
No. You know how role-playing games go. We need to spend half an hour making a plan, which goes straight out of the window
Yeah.
as soon as anything happens.
Yeah.
That's how role-playing games work.
Exactly. Anyway, without any further ado, let's jump back into the Ninth World. And welcome back. Last we left off, that immortal phrase, sorry, I've been watching a lot of Critical Role recently. Last week, we were in the Osran Woods. Well, we were at the edge of the Osran Woods, and Matilda, kind of quite distant from you at the moment, a little annoyed that secrets were being hidden, handed out baskets and said, go and collect some fruit. And so you all did. These strange purple trees, all pretty much identical, with these, again, quite strange purple fruits without any kind of seeds, really, just mostly flesh and juice. So a few hours of picking them, before a woman just strode out of the forest, told you all to leave, and then strode back into the forest.
Yep.
We called back after her, and she said, "And don't let the juice touch you." At which point you noticed that several people had juice on their hands. One of your
No.
number,
Let's panic.
one of your number who's... It's Merrin. There we are. I keep wanting to call him Rays, but that's Brandon Sanderson. Merrin wasn't affected by this juice at all, but the others didn't want to leave the forest when they were led towards the edge. Insisted that the camp be brought to them. Matilda, of course, being head of the caravan, could make those orders. So some of you took them to the edge of the forest, and the others went to see the woman in the middle of the forest and see what she had to say about it. She said to get you all out of the forest as quickly as possible. Nice and simple. Her little makeshift lab in the middle of the forest couldn't really figure out what she was trying to work out, but she had some of this fruit dissected. And so you went to the edge of the forest and did your work, charged people out of the forest. Aldo was chucked unceremoniously by Letty, landing in a crumpled heap a little way away. Names. Nimchek, yes, Nimchek was carried out by a couple of you. You pushed Nimchek out. Sorry, there's someone upstairs who is tapping on the floor, like directly above my head.
Oh, tap dancing, a nice, fun new hobby.
I don't know what anyone does around here. Like,
And you thought the workmen were going to be the problem. Always got to watch out for the tap dancers.
yeah. Anyway, yes, Aldo, the son of Matilda, was chucked out. Nimchek was pushed out by a couple of you, and Merrin, you convinced Merrin to use his kind of nullifying effects to get Matilda out of the forest a little bit.
Because she was rooted to the... She'd started rooting, hadn't she?
Yes, because somebody rolled a natural 1. She had started rooting into the ground. But with that suppressed, and several of you working together, you managed to get everyone out of the forest, Matilda onto a cart, and in a direction away, as far away as possible. Aldo went with her to keep her from trying to get out and get back in the forest. And so that kind of fairly safely put away, Nimchek seemed to be able to shrug off the effects quite quickly, and Merrin, of course, was not affected. You left them at the edge of the forest and headed back in yourselves to see what could be done about this, see if there is a cure. And so you found again this woman, this strange woman, like very...
And she was thrilled to see us, wasn't she? Yeah, she was
Yes.
really delighted that we were back.
She had told you 3 times to get out of the forest, and she'd seen you twice now. So yes, she introduced herself eventually as a Cirque, a Saracenian, one of these group of people very interested in studying plants. Plant life being obviously the most noble form of life. And she's been studying this forest for a little while. She doesn't really understand it, but she seems to understand at least that the forest is replicating itself by using unwilling hosts. You get some of that juice in your system, the juice soaks in and starts to turn you into one of these identical trees. Not a pleasant way to go. She also told you about how the forest is, again, pretty identical all the way through, very uniformly spread, except for a little area to the north of her. Not quite into the centre of the forest, but around radially, an area with sparser trees and a bit of a kind of valley. And so that seemed like a good a place as any to explore, to figure out what's going on. You see the pattern, you see what breaks the pattern, maybe you can break it later. And so you found this little valley, this small stream, a pool, puddle almost at the bottom, stagnant water as you got in, and you could see a cave where this water was coming from. And in the cave, a figure. Two figures. A head and a body, seemingly only connected by some like vines or maybe tendrils or maybe wires. Hard to tell in the dark. And this thing introduced himself as a Nevergin. One of you had a little bit of a whisper from the Catholith about Nevergins, that they always keep their deals. And deals were traded back and forth. Deals for names, deals for information. You told your entire story, front to back, the whole way you'd come here. And that was enough to get the Nevergin's understanding of what was going on. That this forest was a weapon, originally. It was designed to make one thing the primary source of living, turn everything living onto the planet into one thing. There we are. And somehow it had got hijacked by this tree, or it had decided that this tree was the correct thing, and so it started replicating itself. Nice and easy. What's less easy is how to solve it, because it's a weapon that will need overriding. You'll need to give it some other kind of genetic data. Parallel to all of this happening, Letty's eye kept flashing black with stars, and Letty kept getting little impulses to do things, to ask for a new body, to make a deal, to agree, to step forward when it looks like it's dangerous. And it looks like the Nevergin made a deal with whatever was giving these little impulses to Letty. Whatever that means. There was another deal made, actually, now I'm remembering it. Mazia made a deal, and my notes are terrible. I know what you agreed to do. I can't remember what it was in exchange for.
I was going to try and take it, if I could. I was going to have to try and attempt to take it into the like weird Matrix world.
Yes, into the data sphere.
Data sphere. Have I got that written down?
The reason being, I remember now. It may be a way to cure you of the echoing in your head.
Yes.
Maybe. Possibly.
But it would mean me taking this thing, because apparently it wants to go there.
Yes. It would like to go where all the information is.
It's like a terrible idea, and I'm still going to do it.
And so, we return with you stepping out of this place, stepping out of this cave, and back into the forest. This the silhouettes, the same silhouette over and over. The sun is dipping, not going down yet. It's late afternoon, but in this area of the forest, you can only see glimpses of it. And so, what would you like to do?
Oh, one thing we'd missed, Freshwater Letty's crime is now in the open.
Oh,
she traded
yes.
that for information on how to get her ankle bracelet free.
Yes, indeed. Freshwater Letty's crime. A whole town destroyed. No people in the town. just the inorganic materials. Strange. So, standing at the edge of this little valley, what would you like to do?
Well, that was enlightening in many ways. Maybe we need to have a discussion at some point, but maybe not now.
Are we gonna go and tell Cirque what we found out, or not?
Well, she's offered us money in exchange for the info, so
We do like money.
got 3 shins up front, so up to you guys.
Do you think she knows about the Neptune?
No.
I don't think she's been out this far.
Maybe it's... is it a good idea to tell her about this? Is this something that can be abused or could put her life in danger?
Guess it depends what sort of deal she makes.
Hmm.
Like she wants to be a plant, for instance, and she gives him the information, maybe she'll become a plant. But likewise, maybe that'll make her happy. Who knows?
Happy plants.
However, I do think she might be of benefit. So just let me get this right. So in order to stop the purple sentient fruit pip being thing from
Accurate.
weaponizing and making more trees out of who knows what, we have to reprogram it or recommand it some way.
I think that's right,
I
although we did
misunderstood?
spend a whole hour recounting our whole story, so it's a bit foggy towards the end there.
So if we reprogrammed it so that instead of turning, I don't know, people into trees, it instead turns soil into chocolates, then
You wouldn't even have to do that. Surely we could try and reprogram it to reproduce like a normal tree, you know, to grow a fruit and to grow a seed, and because we don't want to mess too much with the ecosystem, right?
no,
What,
the soil into
The
chocolate.
dead
is just
person tree ecosystem. Yeah, we wouldn't want to mess with that.
Well, then we want to try and fix that, but we don't want to say, oh, you know, use this to reproduce instead
Yeah.
and have it take over the planet, because that would be bad.
Do you think it could turn the trees back into people, or do you think they're too far gone and we'll end up with something we really don't want out of that?
I think it
I
You
might
ever
be
heard of the
time-
monkey's paw?
Ah,
Might be time to let the tree people go and just see how we can reduce the damage going forward.
Yes, but it would be good to reverse whatever's happening to Matilda, because I'm suspicious that she is not free of the influence it has over her.
Mm.
Right, well, let's
Okay.
go and see the plant lady and let's just try and figure out some sort of solution. But are you okay, Mazia? How's your head?
oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, probably fine. Helmet still working. Oh no.
Sorry.
No, that's not the right one. At least I actually got percentile dice out today. That is 65. No, it's 56.
And Letty, you made the deal with the woman. Up to you whether you tell her what you found.
Maybe she can help us. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh
She's
no,
got the
we definitely need
expertise.
her help with the fruit. I'm more thinking about the never gin.
Yeah, so are we going to tell her about the Nevergin?
Well, again, Letty made the deal. Letty can decide.
Well, sure we all know that I'm an honest sort, so I think I'll tell her. I'll tell her to be careful though. Those things.
Sensible.
I'm not sure how long the Nevigen's going to be there. What with Mazia's decisions today.
Well, that won't happen anytime soon, because I have no idea how to get into the data sphere. So
Do I know how to get into the data sphere? So have I heard of people actually going into the data sphere? Yeah.
Yeah. You've come across bits and pieces before. Generally, you need to find an entry point from a prior world installation. Nobody's kind of figured out a quick way to do it themselves safely.
Okay.
So it's relying on old tech.
Okay. No, indeed, it's probably not going to happen quickly unless we stumble across a portal. But since I don't really know what they look like, and they probably change depending on who built it, it might take a while. How are you going to communicate with Nevigen when you find somewhere that will let you into the data sphere?
that is another good question. I don't necessarily know the answer to it, but I suppose I will see if it finds me, and if it doesn't find me, I'll come back here and
Okay.
don't know.
Well, we'll deal with that when it happens, I suppose. But I will keep an eye out for portals for you. I don't think it's a great idea, but anything to sort out your head.
Ed, we were communicating, or the Nevigen was communicating with us sort of semi-telepathically, wasn't it? If I just try and send out a telepathic thought to it, do I get any response?
No.
Don't know. Doesn't seem to want to talk to me now, but don't know
I
if
think
that.
he said something about once you're in the data sphere, you'll be able to like call it there, like somehow summon it there. I don't know. Made no sense to me. Honestly, very little has in the last few hours.
That makes sense.
Last
Yeah.
few days.
Yeah, the past month.
Basically since we started this. Anyway, we're dallying now. Let's go.
So should we go and see Sec?
Yeah.
Okay. So, walking through the forest, a short walk away is Cirque. She basically hasn't moved since you left her. She is kind of almost bent 90 degrees, looking through a magnifying glass at one of these fruits.
Hello! We're back. And juice free.
And
Yes.
Got some information for you. We had a chat with an entity in there's like a pool out there where creatures still grow in the water, microbes, worms of that sort.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's a cave, and in that cave is a Nevigen who very kindly had a chat with us and explained to us a few things about the nature of the entity that occupies these trees.
What's a Nevigen?
It's not a plant. It's sort of a deal-making creature. It gave us some information in exchange for some information.
Oh.
So I'd be careful, because it's very big, and I don't know what it'll do if you piss it off.
But it
That's
does
worth the
like
money.
information.
It did say that we might be able to reprogram the purple stuff to make it stop eating, consuming, taking over people and other creatures.
Oh. Are you planning to do that?
Yes. Mazil
Sort of
looked
wise,
to
doesn't it?
everyone else, you know. She just assumed that we would try, but
Do you think that you would be able to reverse genetically engineer these fruits to become. Vizier had the suggestion to become more like fruit rather than
Well,
form-changing parasites.
botany and genetic engineering are two rather... Well, they're related, but they're distant cousins at best.
Well, do you think we'd be able to find the complementary genetic engineering tools that will help an expert botanist like yourself work with those skills and make some ground here? Because it would really help to stop people turning into trees as they wander through this area.
Alternatively, any of you three got some surprise genetic engineering skills that we haven't seen before? No?
Unfortunately, biology isn't really my field.
No.
I've never engineered a gene in my life. I don't
Worth
know
a
how to
shot.
sew.
I was waiting for it.
Also, canonically, not true.
Yeah.
She's got all sorts of pockets in her sleeves.
Well, let me do things in the correct order. She reaches into a pocket on these kind of cargo trousers. She's dressed very, very practically, you know, like
Does she have
classic.
more pockets than Mazia?
Probably not.
Okay, that's fine.
Probably not.
We don't have a problem.
But she reaches into one and flicks a coin at Letty, which catch and identify 5 shins.
Nice.
8 seems about fair for the information you've given me.
Well, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I was going to move on to the next order of business, but if there's something you wish to say about the current order of business, please.
Well, I was going to say, do you want to know why the plant's here? Because we found that as well, but I don't know if you're the sort of person who likes to have a puzzle answered for her or who likes to puzzle it out herself.
I've never had the question asked. Why the plant is here? That's a... Well, the answer is because it is, but...
Well, I know part of the answer. I don't know all of the answer.
Go on then, you seem to want to tell me.
It was originally, whatever is in these plants, was a bioweapon designed to replicate itself.
Oh.
Somehow or other, it seems to have occupied this single plant.
That explains rather a lot, and that explains why I couldn't understand it. Thank you.
No worries.
Don't
Letty
lead
waits
to another
for
question of who
Letty waits for
invented
another
a
shin to
bioweapon,
appear, but she
though.
doesn't. Sorry, Rox.
Does lead a small question of why someone invented a bioweapon and how it ended up here, and if it's going to be a problem, if there's going to be another one, or someone's still trying to invent a better bioweapon. But I'm sure that won't be a problem.
What do you have in your pockets?
Me?
Yes, I'm sure you've got some device that is terribly dangerous. And why would somebody create that? And why do you have it? Because somebody
be
thought it was a
useful.
good idea in the past.
Mazia does have a lot of pockets. She's got a lot of stuff in her pockets. Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Yeah.
And now the next order of business, unless there's anything else.
No, please go on.
I think we're good.
I may be able to help. I doubt I'll be able to do much more than advise. As I said, I am not a genetic engineer. I am a botanist. I will be able to... I could try and unravel whatever the host DNA and whatever the carrier... If you're telling me these things, I'm assuming there are 2 DNA strands that are interacting in some way, or there is at least one host in. And this, I should be able to isolate the original tree, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure what I could do with that, other than give it to you.
That would be useful, I think.
Good start. Anyway,
Mm.
how long will it take?
I haven't the foggiest.
Might we persuade you to leave your abode here and maybe come and join us on the outside of the forest so we might work together?
Are you not able to work here?
I'm just thinking that we would have our supplies out there and other things that we may need, and personally I would feel a lot more comfortable not being in the forest of dead humans. It's just a personal thing. I'm sorry.
Give me a persuasion.
Oh, you know what I'm going to ask?
I think it's reasonably pleasant.
Ah,
It's definitely not unpleasant.
definitely not unpleasant. Ooh, we're going to get bubblegum today. Right.
These are new dice.
Yeah. 15.
Yes, we're playing Numenera. Sorry, I started doing Lancer maths.
No.
15. So, yeah, how many skills, sorry, was that?
It was with the. It's just a. Hold on. Did we say it was pleasant or
Yep.
unpleasant?
Pleasant.
Pleasant. Specialized. So that's 2.
Cool. Yeah, easy then. Well, you carry the table. I will pack up the tent, and you. Looking at the rest of you. Looks at Letty. You bring the glassware. And she goes over to the tent and starts unpitching it.
Maybe we'll
Classic.
give her a hand.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a little while because it is a proper old-fashioned poles and canvas tent, but folds up reasonably nicely into a rucksack. The table can fold and it has wheels so it can be dragged, and the glassware can all be put away in cases to be put on this kind of trolley that the table turns into, but with Letty's help, I'm sure we don't need to bother with cases.
Hedge magic is specifically says like for cleaning small areas as well. I like the image of Letty like standing while stuff's being packed away with like orbited by like rings of glass as she sort of set them into orbit around her.
Exactly. And so out to the edge of the forest, an easy hike for you, even with all this kit. And you come to the camp set up. Alia is tending the camp as who else is around? Alia, Philo, and Merrin would be at the camp because Rhodes, George, Aldo, and Matilda are out in the cart heading that direction.
Yeah.
There's also 2 Calyptor around. Alia being very careful to not let them in. Nimjack's here as well, of course. And Cirque follows you out, and as she spots the rest of them, more people. Wonderful.
Oh yes, of course. These are our travel companions, and I'll do the introductions.
I don't much care.
Have we
Excellent.
told her that Meredith's taking roots?
Merrin.
No,
Matilda.
Matilda. I did Meredith last
And
time as well. Yeah, exactly. Matilda is taking roots. Have we told her this?
I think we mentioned that last time when we came back.
And she basically said, "Oh dear, what a pity, never mind."
Yeah. As is her way.
Yeah. Is it actually day or night? Because we couldn't tell in the forest, could we? So is it actually day or night?
So late afternoon.
Okay. Oh, excellent. It's nice to see a bit of sunshine. Philo, would you be a blessing and rustle up some food for us? Sir, is there anything particular you do or don't eat?
No. I'll
You
eat
eat
what I'm
plants?
given.
You eat
No,
plants?
because I study plants, I don't eat exclusively plants. In fact,
Well, I
if I
thought you
study
might have
plants
eaten
and if I love plants, I'd be less likely to eat plants, surely.
Well, that's why I was asking, because if you avoid plants, I'd need to tell that to Philo, because, I mean, he's very good at plant-based food.
It would be rather difficult to eat a non-plant-based diet, would it not?
Dogs do it.
As a human.
Indeed. Philo, usual.
Of course. A stew has already been going for a while, so he will continue on the way, smelling pretty good. Of course. Because you've still got the 2 caravans here, so you've got most of his ingredients. She sets up her table and camp a little ways away. She insists for peace and quiet, but you think possibly just doesn't do people.
So, is there any way I can help? As I say, botany is not really my strong suit, but I might be able to help with some of this equipment, calibrate it, get things set up. I'm more than happy to help you with this.
He's really very good.
Oh, thank you.
Well, if you insist.
Oh, okay. Let me know how I can help, and yeah, let's get started.
Give me a machine, like a using machinery kind of role, as she sets up one of the experiments to extract DNA and then sequence it.
I'm skilled in planning and organizing. Will that help?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I roll a 12.
Yeah, so with your assistance, the thing's set up fairly quickly. She explains some of the details, but she's the kind of person who explains only what's on the top of her mind at any one point. So there is all this information that you're missing that you're having to piece together.
Yeah. I do a lot of nodding and smiling. Oh, okay, yeah. Wait a minute. Okay, now I get it. That kind of thing.
Yes. She's telling you to set up a certain bit of equipment, and you're having to like intuit what that means and not ask too many questions, otherwise you'll get annoyed. And can you tell what I've been doing at work? But the experiment is set up, and you start taking some of this juice and distilling it and mixing it and pulling it apart using various chemicals and trying to extract the DNA, the genetic material.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
TG's going to wander up with the book of flora that we were using before, that we got from Connie, and go. Sorry to interrupt, but I was wondering if you had any notion of what the original plant might have been from what you were seeing. I have this fabulous book here, and I was thinking maybe if we knew what the original thing looked like, either we could try and program it to look like that, or maybe we find something else that's, I don't know, a little less. There's so many things to choose from.
What are you proposing?
I'm proposing that you tell me if you know what the tree might have been originally before it became purple.
If I knew that, I wouldn't be here.
Yes, fair point. Let me just leave this with Trenton. I'm sure you might find it useful at some point, and I'm just gonna
It's clearly.
Back away slowly.
I'm gonna flick through the book and try and find other purple fruit, B, fruit native to this kind of area of land, and C, fruit that I missed from home that makes me really hungry.
Yeah, no need to roll because it's just time, and you've done
Yeah.
your bit setting up the experiment.
Yeah.
You do hear Cirque muttering under her breath, "Pop science books, I don't know," as you're flicking through. But you find like a few bits that might be related, might be relevant. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Cirque will look over your shoulder occasionally and go back to the experiment. Yeah, not a bad idea. Like maybe
Just yeah, exactly. Just on the off chance that we have some even dried pieces of that fruit that might be useful for splicing into the
yeah.
into the purple fruit.
I'd like somebody to roll some kind of retroactive purchasing roll to see if you happen to have any of this fruit. See if you've got any useful stuff.
I think the last time we did a shopping run, I think Mazir and Merrin did all the fruit shopping when we were off tackling children in marketplaces.
All right, I can give you a fruit shopping roll.
Yeah.
Do you have any skills?
In specifically in fruit shopping?
Mm.
No, I have one in survival. No, so perhaps I would have chosen
I
like a
don't
range
think
of
so.
fruit.
You do also have a shard of the sun, and I hear that plants really love that guy.
Plants do enjoy the sun. What sort of roll is this? Is this a?
It's definitely intellect.
All right. Well, I have got a. I'll put a.
So because this is retroactive and Numenera
I-
doesn't have any
yeah.
like actual
enough.
retroactive roll, I'm putting this in. I'm going to say no effort because you did it in the past.
It's a 16 anyway. So.
It's a 16. So yeah, you might have some examples of similar fruit. They will be, like you said, dried.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, no, you've got some useful stuff.
Would they not be perfectly preserved by our food stasis device?
Yes.
Which we
It
still
wouldn't
have
matter.
just remembered about.
It wouldn't matter. We just need the DNA from this, so it should
That's true.
it shouldn't matter.
You know, the reason I forgot about that is because I had planned at some point for the woman who owned it to catch up to you. But it just kind of never happened, and I thought it had happened. But no, yeah, you still have that device, so absolutely, you've got fresh fruit.
I wonder what would happen if we put one of these purple fruits in it.
It will stay fresh. I mean, surely that's the whole point of the device.
I don't know.
And,
This is
and
a
let's
weird
not
fruit, though.
contaminate something that is working extremely well in Fruit Fresh, which we all appreciate, with something that is at the heart of it a bioweapon. And if I see you go near any of those purple fruit, Mazia, maybe you should go and, I don't know, recharge with Merrin or something.
Merrin isn't here.
Marin is
Merrin's
here.
there.
Oh, Merrin's here. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of
Matilda, Aldo,
Matilda.
and George.
Yeah.
If I have a break from Cirque at some point, I will go and put some of the fruit on the table and also do the DNA extractions from those to help along the way. I'm also going to approach Mazir with a knife in my hands. And I'm going to say, Mazir, look, I have this healing dagger, right? I don't know the depth of its healing properties, but you want to see what happens, with your condition. If I cut you with a knife, no, just kidding. If I just, a gentle little boop, healing thing. Worst case is that you'll just feel a little bit more stronger. It's a healing dagger.
Yeah. What could go wrong? Stab me. Do it.
I stab Mazir gently
What the hell are you
on
doing?
the thigh. Yeah, exactly. In the left eye. No. Just exposed bit of arm. You've got a little bit of exposed arms.
Yeah, I take the helmet off before he stabs me with it, though. Just.
Okay.
And the blade injects a healing substance into the body of the person they attacked. restoring 1d6 of any stat pool they wish. 5. And that's it. And then I would need to do a d10 to see if it is depleted.
This dagger hurts like hell.
Oh,
It is
sorry.
so, like, it is... Ooh, not good.
Ow.
It's a bit stinky.
But
It
as
feels
it
like someone's
pulls-
put antiseptic on the dagger or something, so it cuts
Rub
into you
Yeah.
and
pepper into
stings.
it.
It is.
Ah.
exactly like that. You beat me to it. But as it's pulled out, it does heal the wound as it pulls out.
Hmm.
No
I don't
scar.
like go the full way in. It's just a little, as to let the healing juice.
Okay. In that case, it still stings.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it heals the cut behind it.
Okay.
It's a very strange thing to cut someone with a knife in it and not actually leave a cut.
Yeah.
PG stomped. What are you doing? Like, God, why are you?
She's got a helmet off. She's got a helmet off. Stop it. She's got a helmet off.
What? Well, why is her helmet off?
Stop shouting. Stop shouting. She's got a
Does
helmet
this
off.
hurt? Does this hurt?
Stop shouting. Stop
I immediately
shouting.
put
Stop
my
shouting.
my helmet back on.
You still need to make an intellect defense roll.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you have lost any intellect at this point, you've just regained 5 points. Or 5 points.
I had lost 1 point of intellect. That's a 7. Yes,
7.
not a 1.
I think that's a failure. Yes, that is a failure. So it's 5 points of intellect damage.
After the healing. Oh no.
Yeah, I
The
know.
healing happened.
Surely the healing's still taking place slowly in
No.
certain gates.
No.
It's worth a try.
I mean, you could just go again. It is an artifact. You can do it multiple times.
That is true, and I rolled a 4, not a 1 on my
Yeah,
tools,
so
by
still
the way.
working.
Yeah.
Right. Is the helmet back on properly now, Mazia?
Yes, look,
Yes.
What are you doing?
It's a healing dagger. Look, and I showed her arm, show him her arm. And like, look, it's fine. It's a healing dagger. I just wanted to see if it would heal everything. It doesn't.
Doesn't, and it really stings, by the way, just in case that.
Maybe I can try it on Meredith.
Matilda.
No.
Matilda.
Okay. Healing dagger for healing in emergency situations, not for trying to. I don't. Well,
It could have been like a panacea for everything. Could have been, right? You
Yeah.
don't know.
Could have worked.
Doesn't.
I-
We can move on.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree, but if I might take your side and say we should stab Matilda, everyone's going to take it the wrong way.
Yeah, this is true.
Particularly Matilda.
I mean, we can
Okay,
just
can
cut
we
off the
have this
roots.
conversation
The root of-
elsewhere in a lower voice? We're not stabbing anybody.
You're the one that started shouting.
Because you were stabbing her. Well, we did.
It's a small scratch. Tis just a scratch.
Not even a scratch. It's no scratch.
The-
It's no scratch.
Just okay. Trying to go and do this stuff with a botanist and Mazia. Go and do what I told you and recharge with bloody Merrin, will you? And unless he just, I don't care what you do. Just I'm going to go find Philo.
Letty looks genuinely slightly hurt at that, and it's like, oh, okay. As everyone sort of walks away to their various positions, Letty's just in the middle of the camp, like, huh.
The experiments take the rest of the afternoon. So if you've got anything specific, now is the time.
I have a small thing which I'm not sure can happen, and a very stupid idea.
I like it. Already, I like it. I'm in.
I'm guessing George, Aldo, and Matilda are they fully occupied, or could I give them the 8 shins that I earned on commission?
They are nowhere near you. They are riding in like the opposite direction,
Right, of course. Yeah,
trying to
no
get
worries.
distance from the forest, basically.
Yeah, I completely blanked on that. Okay, Cirque said earlier, check your pockets for ciphers. Why do they exist? And Letty just sort of rummaged through some of her pockets and realized she's still carrying the mind sled, which is a vial of ingestible liquid. The user falls unconscious, and 1 round later, a luminous crystal bloodlessly emerges from their head. When the crystal is touched by another creature, the consciousness of the user wakes in the body of that creature. For all intents and purposes, the user and this creature in all ways except personality. If the plant is sentient, does it count as a creature? That's the question on Letty's mind right now.
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. The temptation to stab a tree is very high. Or to pour liquid into a tree, I guess.
A tree or a fruit?
Depends
Could
where
you
the sentience is most
theoretically find a
concentrated.
small animal, purposely infect it, and then do it? Because then it would count as a creature.
Wouldn't we just be allowing the creature to possess a different creature?
Possibly.
But if it's a creature, I can use my command on it.
I'm not sure how this helps, but I'm sure it will.
Well, if the parasite's in the creature and the parasite becomes the creature, then I can command the parasite creature to stop being the parasite bioweapon. No?
Can you- And that would be like telling me to stop being a human. Like, I can't.
Letty goes over to one of the fruit that we've still got in a basket. She sort of levitates one up in front of her, and she cuts a little hole in the side, and she pours in the mind sled liquid.
Smart.
Yeah, liquid pools in the thing, but doesn't seem to soak in at all. Doesn't seem to do anything.
Okay. Is it expended, or can I pour it back?
Not expended, no.
Okay. Well, that was worth it for a laugh.
Well, now we know. Not a creature.
3 separate experiments are now bubbling away on the table. You've got your original fruit. You've got your preserved fruit, like the stuff that's preserved by your kit, and you've got the dried fruit, which may be related. You don't know. You're trying to figure it out. But it's looking like the first stage of the experiment is coming to an end, and you're starting to you're getting very clear instructions now on how to pipette something, how to use a pipette, how to carefully get exactly the right amount of liquid out, and these trays of shallow divots, filling them as she brings out this array of liquids, which she then starts laying out in the tray. It has some legend on the outside telling well, it looks like gibberish to you because none of you are biologists, but as she starts to pipette these chemicals in and they start changing colours, she begins to read it and understand it and start to... It's a very basic way, without much like machinery, of trying to find the characteristics. Like, you're not going to sequence a full genome, but it will find some characteristics, and there are similarities. Yeah, you managed to find a similar fruit, not the same, but similar. And as this experiment continues, and as the tray is filled, the last spot in the tray splits. The liquid is split, intentionally, of course. And one half, apparently, should have all the material that would make the plant a plant. And the other half should be all the material that makes the plant not a plant. For the two fruits, the preserved one, there's not much that splits off into not a plant. The dried one, nothing splits off into not a plant.
Okay.
But the fruits from these trees, 50-50. Well, if you're looking for a bioweapon, there it is.
It's the not fruit part.
Well, I
Interesting.
can only assume, deduction and all that.
Okay.
Now what?
So now if we... Huh. KG? KG?
Yes, Brenton.
What do we do? We've got the button, I explain all that. Cleach, do you think if we now take the plant parts and leave the destructive bioweapon parts behind, and we now put the plant parts back into another plant, then we can encourage the normal hybrid plants to take over this forest without, and just you do it its usual sexual reproduction instead of this parasitic kind of form of reproduction that it has.
If I cut your nose off and replaced it with somebody else's nose, what would happen?
I would probably not get a girlfriend for a while, but it wouldn't also work. My nose, as far as I know, unless, yes.
Oh, humans and plants aren't all that different.
Cleege's gonna look. I was gonna say Cleege's gonna look sheepish. That is not really a look he can pull off. But bearing in mind, she's literally stood next to somebody who literally does not have a human face and obviously doesn't have a human nose. It's anyway.
Bad example.
Well, I think I get what you're saying. It seems to me that the problem is the parasite is within the soil, within the trees, is within the whole biosphere. Is that the correct word, sir? I'm not sure.
Biosphere seems more accurate than ecosystem at the moment, yes.
Yes, well, thank you. I do try.
Yes, I can tell.
Thank you. So I think we need to remove. We really need to remove the parasite, or if we're going on the advice we've been given, we need to reprogram it in some way. Are we able to see? Have you been able to ascertain what the non-plant stuff looks like?
Looks at the table. Well, it looks like that. It's
So a blob.
a clear liquid.
So bit like on a microscopic scale, perhaps.
Yes, I would like to.
Like to.
Can we somehow disrupt that part of the organism and just insert a few bits of nonsense DNA or whatever in, so that the parasitic part doesn't really work properly?
I get what you're saying, but it still would only affect that one bit, and we've got parasites on a vast scale. We don't even have a concept of how much parasite is in one fruit, let alone how much is in one tree, let alone how much is in the soil.
If the parasite bonded with the tree, and now we have a sample of pure parasite. That mean we can put DNA in there and it'll bond with it on some level. And if we do, the DNA we use, and she sort of glances back at Merrin, what if we put the DNA in of an entity that cancels out Numenera?
And general weirdness.
Just a theory,
We might be able to
not
see
just a pretty
exactly
face.
how whatever he does is disrupting it. On a molecular level.
And
So-
that'd be useful for the boy as well.
Cirque at this point has very quietly slipped away and got her microscope out because she is very annoyed that she didn't think of looking at it under a microscope. She was excited by the split happening and then just kind of gave up on it.
Letty? Let no one tell you you are not of value. Sometimes you are a genius. A criminal genius, mind, but a genius in other ways too. I think that could work. Right, Trenton? I mean, it's not...
Yes, I think so. I have to admit, I'm a little lost in this field. I think that's a great idea.
We can give it a go. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, I
A
don't
Don't
know.
thousand
answer that.
Merrins?
Don't answer that.
Countlessly reproducing? I'm not... I don't know much about this. Mostly survived on my wits.
Cirque looks up and says, "Well, you say this is not your field, but what kind of scientist are you?
I'm more of a mechanic, more of an engineer.
How like macro engineering or
No, Numenera engineering and production and devices and repairing
Come on.
devices. And
Oh, good. Is it Numenera?
come and have a look?" And you see what look to you like cells, but completely opaque. Look like they're made of synth.
no. And I do that. No. No. These aren't organic.
Well,
What?
Oh,
makes sense.
especially if it's been engineered.
Also makes sense that Merrin can counteract the effects.
Can you do anything with it?
Yes.
Can you talk to them and tell it to stop?
Maybe.
Letty nudges Cleege. He's like, "Here's the real genius at work. Let's watch him go. Watch him go. Look at those gears turning."
Okay. I can. So I'm going to try a few things. First thing is I'm going to. I want to determine whether this is an intelligent machine or an unintelligent machine. I assume it's an unintelligent machine. A simple function that it just carries out. I can convince. Oh man, do I want to do this?
Yes.
It's got to be
Surely.
a less risky way of doing this.
Surely scan it first, Trenton, and see what you're dealing with before you try any, I don't know, stabbing people with daggers.
Measuring once. Don't like that.
I will do. I can also charm machines to convince an intelligent machine to like me. But yeah, first of all, I will. I'll try and condense it all. Just so if she's got a little centrifuge or something, condense all the particles, remove all the liquid, so that when I scan it, it's a bit of more of a bulk tissue.
She's absolutely got one. Unfortunately, it's hand cranked.
That's fine. I was ready to spin something around the head, so that's great.
Letty just stood next to it with a finger out and it just whirring around.
Of course
Nice.
it does. Of course it does.
Love it. Faster. And then remove the liquid off, and I will then scan to try and work out whether this can be, what this is made of. Whether this has got, whether this is small enough that I've got tools that I can get into and I can change this and reprogram.
Yeah, absolutely. So, your scan, as you pore over the information that's coming in, you move a couple of ports around and start focusing the scan into a very small area. And they're communicating. They're talking to each other. Some kind of wireless communication. They're also communicating with something else. They're calling home. It's hard to tell the direction, but there's definitely a much stronger call home. You don't know if they're connecting, but they're trying.
Interesting.
They're far too small for you to interact directly with your tools.
Okay. And I think my activation deactivation works on a single machine rather than a community of machines, but I can try it. I'm going to try and, using what's come out of my scan, I'm going to use distant activation deactivation to shut off the communication, the calling home communication. That's what I'm going to try and do.
Okay. I'm going to take an intellect roll for this. Like,
Try and
normally you
interrupt
wouldn't
that
need to,
signal.
but
Yeah.
I'm going to. We're going to call this a difficulty 5.
Drop that down. All right. So I have understanding Numenera, specialize in electrical machines.
Yeah, you're talking communication here. I think that counts.
Yeah. And then I'll put a level of effort in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Difficulty 1, 3 or more.
It is a 13.
This is why you do the things you're good at.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, the swarm, the nanobot swarm, acts sort of like a single entity. This swarm you've condensed here is distinct from any other swarm you've got nearby.
Right.
It is communicating with them, but this swarm is distinct as a unit.
Okay.
And so, as a unit, you can turn it off.
Amazing. Amazing.
You can tell, though, that the other units around it notice. There is handshakes going and not being received.
I don't really care. They're just fruit. You know. So this is a nanobot swarm, and they're communicating with each other. I've prevented them from communicating with the other fruit swarms in fruit form, you might say. And yes, that's been noticed, and they're still trying to contact each other. But I believe that in this form, they wouldn't be able to carry out the transformation effects that they have and turn people into trees.
So how do we get that in all of the cells, in all of the forest, so that none of them can take anything else over?
Well, surely we don't need to deactivate them. We need to recommand them. That's what the Nevagin said. We need to give them an alternate command. Is there any way you're able to give an alternate command to them?
Yep, I think so. Or I can at least, because I might be able to encourage them to, instead of communicating with each other, communicate with a stronger source. And so that they are no longer acting as a unit, or use a disruptive frequency.
You said they were, so they're communicating with one another,
Mm.
and then they're communicating with something else as
Yeah,
well.
the individual nanobots communicating with each other, and then also as a community, the communities are communicating with each other as well.
Okay.
And am I right in saying, Ed, that I think they're communicating with something else as well?
Yes. Kind of a phone home server.
Yeah.
So if
I've turned biology into cybersecurity.
That's fine.
Good job. So if we can somehow, okay, I see two possibilities, maybe three. I see a few possibilities. So we could first of all try and augment the phone home signal
Mm.
to see if we could manipulate that back to them, i.e. provide a response.
Mhm.
Or we could just try and augment their signal so that you can send them a message and we can try and get that message transmitted throughout the whole of the forest. I see that being more difficult, I'm not going to lie. But we do have Dream Titan Ica, and we do know that that can do weird things. So rather like we did with Mazia's helmet, where we used it just a little bit to sort of fill in the gaps and like
Mhm.
provide the signal, maybe we could do some. I mean, if you're willing to give me a few hours, I might be able to tinker up, you know, some sort of something or other to like augment a signal, or, well, obviously you'd have to do most of the work, but like,
That's okay.
I've got bits and bobs I can certainly help you craft.
I recently stocked up on tools and equipment as well, so okay. Well, no time like the present.
The sun has well and truly set by this point. It has been a long afternoon of science, of waiting for science to happen mostly. But by this time, dinner is ready. It is delicious as per. Are you planning to work through the night, or are you going to go at this in the morning?
I really want coffee and work through the night. It's going to be one of
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Philo will provide coffee.
Mazir will stay up as well and provide light in different useful
Oh,
places,
amazing.
like focused on it, like exactly where you need it.
Perfect.
Sorry,
Betsy, we
we've
might-
had quite a few that are solved by the two on the two scientists in the group.
It's alright. It's a good
Aw,
thing.
you
This is why I
probably
don't create a
should
scientist, because I wouldn't have the ideas to fix this anyway. So I'll let them do it.
Letty, I think we're going to need you. We're going to have to manipulate, you know, toxic stuff, and nobody wants another Mazir incident. Let's face it.
Sure.
I really, Kiji really glares at Mazir at that point, like. Right.
Sure.
Come on.
Hey, Nimchek,
Yes.
you're right to read the young bear in a bedtime story of some sort.
Of
It's bedtime now.
course, I can tell some kind of story. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, tuck him in. His mammy's out of the area, so I figured you're a comforting presence in hard times.
Oh, okay. Looking uncomfortable at it, but does go to it. Arlie is there as well, so helps. And you hear Nimchek's dulcet tones. Not the phrase I'd use for Nimchek's voice. At least It's hard to tell like what any of my voices sound like coming out of me, so I can never tell.
Most of them are very relaxing.
Good. Nimchek's voice is not meant to be so relaxing. It is meant to be a bit frantic, but they will happily help and like set them off to bed. They've got tents and stuff. They're quite happy organising themselves as you work through the night.
Kiji is literally going to take the boxes of various sort of ciphers and, I don't know, broken things and everything else that we've accumulated, and just literally whack it in front of Mazir and go, right, okay, you're good at identifying stuff. All right,
Yes.
try and work out something that might like help. No ideas, go with it. Whatever you think might be useful, pass it down the line.
I will do that.
Okay, so this I'm going to call a difficulty 6. The thing you're trying to do is not too bad. So first of all, I'm going to ask Mazir to make this scavenging roll, figuring out bits and pieces that would be useful. Purposes of these things.
Alright. So can I use salvaging Numenera?
Yeah, absolutely.
And possibly visual perception, but I think salvaging Numenera is probably more
Yeah,
applicable.
I think the salvaging is. Yeah.
If I'm there as well, I mean, I have understanding, so she can always go.
See, this is a role
This
for
doesn't-
Mazir to affect the role that you're going to do, so
Okay,
you can't
good.
like.
Yeah.
It's missing.
Can't ping pong it, yeah.
Affected well, it's 18.
18.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're
I'm
probably-
helping.
you probably help scavenge some of these bits and pieces, so you recognise what some of the uses are, and so you're picking out bits and pieces for the other two to use to build, put together.
Yep.
So the other two, we're down to a difficulty 5.
Okay. This is an electrical machine.
Sounds like it.
Okay, so specialized, so there's 2 points.
For 3.
I do have is this Numenera? Is it understanding Numenera?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to chip in. I'm assuming I'm helping Trenton. So I'm specialised in crafting Numenera, so I'm going to chip in
Down
with
to
that.
0.
Brilliant.
Working through the night, pulling these parts apart and putting them back together. Half-remembered schematics of similar things, of wireless communication you've done before, reverse engineering of the protocol that they seem to be calling out, the call home protocol. And yeah, you eventually come out with something. A very unassuming looking little box that Trenton wires into and can program, and you can send messages, you think, in the right format. But Trenton, take 2 experience points.
Oh dear.
Oh. I'm going to have to give it to Clegy because we were working together on this one.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The call this box makes is nowhere near powerful enough.
Okay.
Whatever the home source is overpowering. And it seems the home source seems to be coming from everywhere. You're going to need some, well, there's 2 options. Some kind of amplifier, or stop the home source.
For what it's worth, I can boost the power of a machine to operate 1 level higher than normal for 1 hour.
In this case, not going to help.
Okay.
Are we, if we were to look for the source, are we able to like change it into some sort of like, I
Could
know,
you-
like,
Could you change
amateur
it
or
so instead of trying to overpower it, it's attaching onto the signal from. Can you change it slightly so it's being broadcast with it, with this home thing, rather than against it?
Hmm. And just, yeah, so that we,
You piggyback off it
Yeah.
rather than.
Trenton, are you able to like interpret the nature of that home signal?
I was thinking, can I use this to track the home signal?
Well, both, because it would be quite useful to know what they're trying to say to home,
Hmm.
and also
Where
if-
home is.
Yeah, and also if there is like something that is augmenting the signal in this area, where that augmentation happens, because
Yeah.
that might have an interface.
So I'll do two things. One, I will. It is coming from everywhere, but there must be. I must be able to track it somehow. Generally by like pinging in different directions until I get a stronger ping back or something.
A concentration gradient.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. And I'll probably do this by just walking around until I get,
Yeah,
Get
I think
something
with your
stronger.
skills, this comes down to a difficulty 0 again.
Okay.
So, what seems to be the case, as the sun starts to rise up,
more coffee.
yeah, what seems to be the case is that the entire forest is the home server. You think possibly that the entire home server is distributed. These nanobots are, all of them, collectively, the home server.
Okay. Personally, I want to disrupt all of these signals. I want to create some kind of
Jamming thing.
just jam the whole bally thing. Bally? That's what Trenton says now. Jam the whole bally thing.
What?
Quite.
Tally-ho.
Tally-ho. Chaps.
How about though we incorporate Letty's idea? We can get something of Merrin's, with Merrin's like ability.
We're already
Then-
doing that. We're already sending. I still don't know how Merrin's ability works, but we're
No.
already sending it in the
No,
electric.
sorry. I've gone off on a different tangent. But if we can get some of Merrin's sort of essence, and we can combine it with like the ichor, and then and we'd need probably a lot, but then Letty could like almost take it up and make it rain.
Perhaps I could incorporate it into one of my barriers. Into a gravitational interceptor for the signal that will prevent the signal passing through. Something opaque to Numenera. Do you think that might work? He's still asleep at the minute, so we've got a little bit of time to talk it through before we have to wake him up.
So, if you put up a barrier, but the problem with your barriers is they're smaller than the forest.
10 foot by 10 foot, but if they're close enough to the sample, then it won't matter how big the signal is from the forest. It's just a small area that we have to cover. I might,
True.
if I put a little grunt behind it, I could possibly, would I be able to, if I put some effort behind it, sort of warp the shape of the barrier?
I don't think you'd be able to do it enough to protect from a wireless signal. Like, directional matters, but not as much as, like, light, you know?
Sure.
Cirque, by this point, crawls out of her tent. Dawn, it's the time she wakes up. She crawls out the tent, stretches. So, have you figured out how to defeat an evil forest of nanomachines yet?
No.
You're getting there.
Oh.
I'll give her an update. We're just trying to figure out how we can use what we have to disrupt all of the signals, at least in portions of the forest, the portion of the forest out, and cut the signals off from each other.
Well, why do you need to use what you have? Why can't you go looking for something new?
Do you know where we might start to look?
Haven't the foggiest.
Well, that's not that helpful then, is it? So, really?
I never claimed to be helpful.
Well, you are, usually. But just not this time. Okay, look,
Oh.
I'm going to...
Sorry, Sark, we've been up all night.
Yeah. I'm running out of ideas.
I think I might need a little break. Some refreshment.
Maybe a nap.
Maybe a nap and have a rethink. A
We
little
have
think.
flown through our break time, so if you want to actually have a break...
Yes, please.
Yeah,
For
sorry.
personal reasons.
I completely... Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
It's time for a break. Let's have a break. We'll see you in a bit.
Gonna have some coffee.
Yeah, see you in a minute. Bye. and welcome back. Before the break, we were discussing options for things to do, and there were a lot of ideas thrown around, and none seemed to be settled. Cirque suggested that you just might need some more power, and then
Easy.
buggered off to do her own thing. She is thoroughly excited by having been able to sequence this DNA properly. She hasn't managed to do that before because a lab assistant is very helpful. Trying to do it all by herself and get the timing right just hasn't worked so far. So we are standing around, the sun is rising, it is dawn. What's your plan?
I guess we're going to go exploring and try and find some way of boosting this.
Yeah.
Where we're going to go exploring, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I did have a thought. Alia,
Yes, yeah.
I know you're an early riser. I apologise. So, have you been like keeping a map of where we've been, like Mazia was showing you before?
Yeah. I've been. It's probably in one of these carts.
Yeah. Would you mind pulling it out, especially if anything you've noticed in this particular area or coming up to this area?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Yeah. She will go back to the cart and rummage, and eventually come out with a scroll case, like leather type thing, and spread out on the ground this fairly beautiful map. I think the scale's probably a bit off, but it is still pretty.
Mazia will just sort of like wince ever so slightly when she can see where there's like she's taken artistic liberties, and she's just like,
I spotted a few bits and pieces. What are you looking for in particular?
Anything unusual in the landscape? Something that might not be there? Buildings,
Well,
rocks,
I mean,
you know?
There's plenty unusual.
Indeed, but well, what stuck out to you?
A little while back there was it looked like a castle kind of thing, but it was weird. It was like it was on the horizon, but it wasn't moving as I'd expect it to be if it was there. Some kind of projection or something, maybe. I don't know. There was what looked like. It looked like a what's the word?
A mirage?
I think it's Ed's got an image, and Ed needs to be able to translate it. Well, it looked like a forest, but it wasn't trees. It was kind of synth spikes almost. Didn't look like it was organic. It looked organized. It looked like a pattern. I think those were the two that were the strangest that stood out. The rest of them just seemed like, abandoned buildings or old villages or, existing villages, things, pieces.
Interesting.
Why?
Can you point out where those two things were?
She will point them out. The castle was a few, like a week or two away, and the spikes in the ground. She points to an area that's actually kind of northeast from where you are. So it was quite a distance away from her. She doesn't know quite how far away it would be to travel there.
Well, we think that this forest is a bit of a problem.
Right.
And
That makes
as
sense.
you'll know, your mum was affected by what happened in the forest, and I'm concerned that if we leave it as it is, one, other people may suffer similar fates, and two, I'm concerned that your mum might not recover fully yet.
Right.
Of course, she
So-
might already be recovered. It's hard to know because she's not here.
If she'd stopped wanting to come back to the forest, I feel like they'd be back by now.
Well, maybe they're just being safe.
That's fair. That's fair.
We might be able to come up with some sort of solution for it. We found out quite a few things, but we think we might need something that will provide more power, and we just don't have that within this sort of caravan.
Okay.
So we're looking for somewhere where we can go exploring and trying to find bits of Numenera that we can use to help us in this situation. Sounds like the castle's very far away, but could be. I guess these two things weren't in the same direction. I guess they were in the opposite directions.
So one is kind of back on the path that you had taken already, and one
That's
is
the castle, yeah.
Yeah, one is a new path northeast.
Okay.
I mean, in my opinion, you've got something that looks kind of like trees but isn't trees and is in fact something man-made.
Mhm.
And we've got something that's should kind of be man-made, well, should be plant-ish, but isn't plant-ish.
Yeah.
There's some similarities there if you kind of squint a bit in your head.
What are you trying to look for?
Well, we don't really know.
Power sources,
Exactly.
energy sources. Wait, don't we have a power source? We've got that prism. Would we be able to jack into that, or are we too far away from the origin point?
We still have that.
It's on the
We've
cards, isn't
rigged
it?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not on the card that we squashed, was it?
No, it was on one of the other cards. It was on one of the
Don't make us roll a 1d3.
No, you still have it, but I will say it is that power source. It can power a town, but you're going against a huge forest. Like, if you've seen it on the map, the forest is like miles wide.
Oh, okay.
It will be another delaying tactic, basically.
Yeah. And also, like, I'm not being funny, but if we actually make it back to Vathica, I'd quite like to go back with the thing we came out for. I know it sounds
Yeah.
stupid, but we've been gone so long. I mean, the whole town could have disintegrated, who knows? But will have done our job, and that's most important to me. Yes, no, we don't really know what we're looking for, but hopefully we know when we find it.
That is
Now-
generally what we do.
So my only question, Alia, is obviously without your mum or George or Aldo here, that does put you in charge of the camp. We could leave you here, but I'm sort of be grateful if you would consider joining us and setting up camp around that area, so at least we can keep an eye on you, and also, we can have access to things we might need.
I want to go and catch up with Mum.
That would be the other possibility.
You can
We know
take
which
one of the
direction they
carts
head.
yourself. We know which
direction?
way they went. We can
Yeah.
follow. that the Caliptor are herds, so that it should be able to. Looking at one of the Caliptor left behind, names. Which one is it? Thanic, the one Caliptor who is inorganic.
Oh yay! I liked him.
Thanic can usually find the others, so we could take Thanic and one of the others and go after Mum, and you take two and head off by yourselves and figure it out.
Okay, if we send Nimchek with you,
Okay.
keep you safe. I'll just go and have a chat with Philo
Okay.
and see what he wants to
I'll
do.
start packing up
But-
camp.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. You do, let us know which one you're taking, and we can put our stuff in the other one. And again, if you don't mind, we may need some of like the more unusual things that we've gathered over time.
Yeah. All we'll need is like enough food, and we'll be good.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
We're gonna do about
Oh, and Alia, here's 8 shins we got on commission. When you see your dad, put it back in the pot and we'll divvy it out as we do with everything else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She'll put it in a pouch somewhere, and head off to break camp.
What are we gonna do about Cirque? Are we gonna leave her? Are we gonna take her?
I guess Cirque will stay here. In fact, if Cirque stays here, it's probably pretty good, because then if Matilda comes back without Alia, then at least Cirque will be there to tell her what's happening.
Philo,
Yes. Yes.
good morning.
Good morning. It is early, is it not?
It is, and I apologise for waking you. We have decided that we need to do a little bit of exploring. We're looking for some Numenera, some power source that might help this whole forest problem. Alia and Nimchek are going to head towards Matilda and George. I guess my question to you is, would you like to join them, which you are more than welcome to do, or would you like to join us on our little bit of travelling?
I am employed by you, am I not?
Indeed, but you
Then I will
know,
follow you.
if that's okay, I can't guarantee what we're going to find, or usual
If there are any
circumstances.
bridges, we won't make you cross them this time.
I will cross a bridge if it is important, but when have we ever known what we're going to be facing next?
Well,
He makes a good point.
Indeed. Would you be able to send off a little care package with Alia for George and Matilda? I don't know what you have left over. Yes, and we'll just finish breaking camp for the rest of it.
Okay.
One more point that we should probably address. Young Merrin is currently with us. Mizia's currently got a little helmet on, powered by young Merrin. If he goes with his sister,
Yes.
Letty, you seem to have a good relationship with him. Maybe you go ask.
sure. Give me a minute. Got a couple ideas, maybe. Letty shuffles down. She's walking. Uncharacteristically for her, she's using her legs because she's so tired from the night staying up. She's not levitating as she normally does. Sort of stumping along. Is Merrin awake?
Yeah, Merrin has been woken by Alia, and they are both like working to break camp.
Hey there, young man.
Hello.
Doing alright?
I'm tired.
Figures. Same. Honestly. Obviously you want to be going back with your ma and your sister, I'm assuming.
Yes.
We'd offer you a spot with us, but I doubt you'd want to take it.
I don't think Mum would like it.
I would be surprised if she was would be happy with that. I've had a couple ideas about what you do. Would you mind... We've got a couple of oddities around. Would you mind doing a few more demonstrations for me? I think maybe I might be able to replicate it. I've been looking at the nanites in the air, and when you do it, there's a few patterns and things. I was wondering if you might show me.
There's a heavy
if I
sigh and then a nod.
I just want to relieve the burden off you, and if I can even slightly copy what you do, then it gives you a break.
Yeah, eyes kind of perk up at that.
All
Yeah,
right.
So you spend a little time practicing. You watch Merrin deactivate things, reactivate things, and more so than watching Merrin, you're watching the nanites, as you said, in the air, trying to sense what they're doing and what Merrin's doing to them, and seeing if you can replicate. It's a little different, changing gravity to changing Numenera, but after a little practice, yeah, starts to make sense. It's almost like nullifying gravity in an area. It's the same kind of muscle you're stretching to do it. It's just pointing it in a different direction. It's weird, but it's doable.
And I take the move Countermeasures, which is a nano skill.
Wonderful.
Nice.
It costs me
Hooray,
4
I'm not
intellect
tied to
do,
Merrin
so
anymore.
Costs me 4 intellect, so it's going to be a little bit expensive for my brain.
Yeah.
But I can, for my friends.
And you have a healing knife.
Oh no!
I won't mind
Ah.
stabbing you.
What a wonderful exchange.
So, how long does that kind of deactivate? Does it give you a time limit, or does it just say?
In combat, it says, hang on. You immediately end one ongoing Numenera effect within immediate range, such as an effect created by an Esotery. Alternatively, you can use this as a defense action to cancel any incoming Esotery targeted at you.
Okay.
You can cancel any Numenera effect. I thought, or the effect of any Numenera device for 1d6 rounds.
Yeah. So it will be a lot of work. Basically, I'm going to suggest that if Mazia wants to be involved in a conversation, you can do it and then have Mazia involved for the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cost a lot, but it will
And if I,
free you from everything.
yeah, if I expend effort, would that prolong the effect?
Yeah, I think that would. Yeah, I think you could prolong it with enough effort expended.
Okay.
So yeah, camp breaks by the time the sun has risen fully. Luckily, the sun rises in the east and the forest is on the west, so you've got full sunlight as the Calyptor are being hooked up by Alia and Nimchek. Nimchek has actually spent a fair bit of time with Rhodes, so has learnt how to handle these Calyptor. Fanik and we'll say Lakshmi are the ones going with Alia, Merrin, and Nimchek, leaving you with Certainem and Woolen. And you're ready to go. Cirque has basically been ignoring you, just at her table continuing. Doesn't really seem to care that you're going, whether you're staying or going. Yeah.
Well, Cirque, we're gonna go exploring, and we will see you. I guess you're staying here.
Enjoy.
As I say, I guess you're staying here.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just checking. We'll see you when we're back.
Okay. Is there anything else you need to do here?
No.
Pick a destination, I guess.
Mm.
I've taken Merrin's glove,
Cool.
just so, assuming Lettie's said that she can do this thing now.
Yeah.
So then, hopefully, Lettie can do it at range as well. Or it boosts the glove. Maybe the glove can boost whatever's going on.
And I have just blocked my ears as sort of made a pair of like headphones or something.
Yeah,
Just,
you've got enough bits and pieces around to cobble together something.
Cleegee got the clipboard out and has written to Mazia, why don't you meditate or sleep for the journey? Oh,
I've told you,
Language.
Cleegee, don't.
For the journey.
Intellect
for the
defense
journey,
roll.
For the journey.
Yeah.
For the journey. For the journey. For the journey. For the journey.
Oh, that's a 19.
19, so just the one. With a 19, actually, that's a minor effect. So, yeah, I will say,
I just glare at Cleegee.
yeah, it's going around, but it's not hurting at least.
Cleegee will go off and go and look after the council. Look sheepish again.
Okay, so, is there anything else you need to do here?
Have we got the?
We've got
have we got the
samples
samples?
Yeah, I will assume that... Oh, we've lost to Danny.
Oh.
So yeah, I will assume you've got samples and all sorts. I'll just... Yeah, I'll hide in Danny's spot at the moment. Yeah, so I'll assume you've got samples and bits and pieces that you need, enough to make this work later.
Yeah.
And so where are you going? Which one are you going for?
I think we're going to go for the Synth Forest.
Synth Forest.
Seems more tangible and nearer, hopefully. So.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, back on the road, but this time without a group. It is just the four of you. It's been a little while since it's just been the four of you, actually.
And Philo.
The four of you and Philo, sorry. But still, it's been a little while since it's kind of just been your little band.
Yeah.
Tell me, is it freeing at all? Or is it lonely?
Definitely freeing for Mazia. You know, she's she has travelled with people before, but normally, she's very much left to like, you go do your thing, come back and report and stuff. So this is much more, she's much more familiar with this sort of like a small group exploring. And it's much easier to have just quiet as well with a smaller amount of people, which is nice.
I think Lettie's a bit torn because she's grown used to either being in jail where there's opportunity for socializing is like limited, or like for like meals and mandatory exercise, or for work, and then like going out with field parties. So it's been really nice for a while to have like more people as part of like a group, like a big group. And now it's kind of like, oh, we've got our own space again with people who aren't really awkward with us right now. But also like, oh, I like those guys.
Yeah.
Did we really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Here it comes. Yeah, there
Sorry.
Welcome back. No worries.
Thank you.
Clegy is like Mazia, taking a big breath and a big sigh of relief, because the tension with Matilda particularly was really getting to him. Not just Matilda, but like Nimchek, and like he was feeling everybody's anger and taking it very personally. So the fact that he's sort of out of the situation, he's still worried about it, and it's still playing at the back of his mind. But actually, just to have a bit of to not it be in his face and having to cope and deal with it and firefight things is a big relief. So he's perking up. He's been a bit perkier than he has been, certainly for the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, setting out to the forest with a map that has no scale. Who's
Fine
leading?
idea.
Who's navigating?
Me, probably. I've been working with Alia on the maps anyway.
Yep.
So I guess I probably, I'm learning her style. And when she does the river with that nice curve in it, that doesn't mean the river has a nice curve in it. That just means it looks nice on paper. So I'll be trying to sort of navigate my way.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, it's a pictorial map. It doesn't have any words on it. So you can read it without much effort. I'm going to ask for some kind of navigation roll. I'll give you an asset because you have said you've been working with Alia in previous sessions. You've been on that when we've been doing downtime stuff.
Excellent. And I do have survival, if that will...
Yeah, I think so.
Reading the land, I suppose, if nothing else.
That kind of thing.
And also, just going to point out, sense danger in case that in case you're about to be like, oh, there's a, something's coming. Just gonna put that out there.
Absolutely.
That's 15.
15. Very nice. So it doesn't take much effort, and it actually doesn't take much time. It's only a couple of days of travel. You hope that Merrin and the rest of them have been able to catch up and keep Matilda from progressing further. But you can't really tell, because when you crest the next hill, the excitement rises as you see something you've never seen before. Like Alia described, this Synth Forest. It's not really a forest, it's an array. It's a grid. It is very regularly placed spines. These four-sided pyramids that are hugely tall. They look maybe 2 or 3 times as tall as the tallest of you, which I think is probably Clegy. So yeah, pretty big. And as you approach, there is a strange humming.
Nope.
Not a audible humming, a brain humming, a weird thing. It's reminiscent of the whispers. It's like the whispers if they weren't trying to get in, but you were aware of them.
Anybody else getting that feeling?
Oh, thank God. I thought it was my passenger again.
I've got my hand against my ears. It's not coming from the outside.
What?
Letty raises a glove. Sort of,
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah. if you stick a level of effort and use the glove, we'll call it for like the next scene.
Okay.
Yes.
You guys,
Roger,
you guys can hear that, right? That's not a me thing anymore, is it?
Not this
No.
time. We're
Good.
all getting it.
Oh, good. Join me. It's nice, isn't it?
No, it's not. Can I check Letty's eye as well while I'm there?
Yes. Sorry, can you hear that beeping in the background?
Yeah.
Now
Yes.
Yep.
I can. Oh, the roadworks have started then.
At 11:15.
Lovely.
Oh, jeez.
Is what
I
get for letting
thought
this
that
one in.
was the sound effects to emulate
I
the humming.
also thought that was the sound effect.
Hey,
of
it's
humming.
good timing.
And I was like, oh, I hope Ed's not going to do that for too long, because that is actually quite annoying.
No. So sorry, what was the question? I got distracted. by
Letty's
things.
eye.
Letty's
What was
eye.
Letty's eye? Yes. Is there anything happening to Letty's eye?
No, Letty is as normal.
Okay. Well, your eyes are normal, so. Okay.
That's good.
I will say,
Okay, I'll take that.
with your sense danger skill though, you don't think it's trying to harm you, whatever it is. You think it's just kind of a background thing.
Yeah, I think we're fine. It seems fine. You know, but what's the worst it could do?
Blow our heads off? I mean, who knows?
Nah, it's fine. Feels fine.
All right. Well, can anybody see a way in as such, or?
Yeah, is it a raid with quite large gaps between the trees?
Yeah, so they're maybe 2 meters apart, and there's maybe sorry, maths. There's about 20 of them, so it's a 4x5 grid. About 2
Okay,
meters
so it's
apart.
not massive.
No, it's not huge.
Okay.
Just
Tall.
may I do some investigation because I've chosen that for my flex skill,
Absolutely.
having ditched wayfinding a minute ago.
Yeah.
And it is a 15.
15. So yeah, it's a slow process going around this, because as you get closer, the humming does get a little uncomfortable. It's never painful, and as close as you get, Mazia doesn't seem worried about like it being dangerous. It's just
Am I ever?
well,
The worst canary in the mine. Canary that loves gas.
but you get closer and you scuff some of the dirt away, and this very flat surface that they're all on, after you scuff some dirt away, is metal actually underneath. They're all on some kind of metal platform.
Individual platform or one big
No,
base?
all on one collective thing.
Trenton, can you do a scan to see how deep this goes, or what it is?
I'm gonna scan it to see how deep it goes or what it is.
Absolutely. No need to roll for this one because
Will we have recouped all our lost points on the journey?
you never rested. Yes, you did. You're off a few days
It's
later.
a couple of days,
Yes.
Just checking.
Yes. Scanning. It is these spikes, synth wiring inside,
Mm-hmm.
the metal, a few inches thick, then more wires, and then a void underneath. It's a box. And if you go around the outside and keep scanning, you find a gap in the edge of the box. What could be an entrance. Underground still.
That's okay.
We don't mind going underground.
No, this could be just what we need. If this is some kind of antenna, a huge antenna, a big amplification device, then we could have struck gold here. This is perfect.
Does it not seem a little coincidental that it is so near the forest to you?
Incidences do happen.
I suppose, especially in this part of the land, but...
Should we go in?
Yep.
I concur.
Let's get in there.
So we're going in. Snook, glow globes.
Sorry, I was waiting for the beeping to go away. Yeah, so the entrance is underground. You can't actually see the entrance. You just know there is an entrance underground.
Ah.
Oh, I guess I'm on shovel duty again.
I'll help you clear, and I guess I'll put up some barriers to keep the supports in place.
You've done these excavations before. I don't even know why I put it in front of you. It's an easy solve. Shovels and a wizard who can lift dirt. And yeah, you make enough of a gap that you can slide in.
This is using up
what are your
precious
talents?
intellect points for me.
Dirt
now.
wizard.
But yes, you slide into this box. And inside the box, with this kind of dirt pile that's slid in, it's pretty empty except for a chair at the other end of the box,
Do I get
wired
any?
into the roof. We've lost Danny again.
Do I get any sense that if I like think about sitting in the chair, do I get a bad feeling about sitting in the chair?
Give me an intellect task.
All right. Can I put some effort in, please?
Absolutely.
Well, I get a free level of effort, but I will put I'll put a second level in as well for those sweet. That's a 12.
Okay. 12. I don't know what they're doing now.
I can just hear it. What?
Yeah. Yes. Things. 12 on danger sensing. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This thing looks dangerous. But it looks like...
It looks comfy.
Not quite. It actually looks pretty uncomfortable because as you look closer, the... sorry, change that back. The chair, the seat and the back are made up of tiny little... They look like the ends of lasers.
Oh. So Mazira is definitely like she's confidently walking towards the chair.
Around the back of the chair also, there is
Yeah.
a thing that flips up to go on your head.
Yeah. So yeah, she is confidently walking towards the chair, sees this and just goes, "Nope." And she'll point out to everyone that this is, although it looks like a really interesting chair to sit on, she would recommend possibly not yet sitting on the chair until we know what it's going to do. Despite knowing that if anyone's going to sit in the chair, obviously it was going to be her. No one else was stupid enough to be like, oh, that's a nice looking chair, I'm going to get and sit on that. But she'll tell everyone just in case.
I will go and have a look at it and see if I can figure out what it's for.
Absolutely. Give me that understanding Numenera roll.
Yeah. Ooh, it's only a 3. I'm going to use an XP to re-roll it.
Okay.
Assuming a 3 with 1 level of skill and no effort put in is not enough.
It is not.
I will put a level of effort in
Okay.
this time. And only roll a 7.
But with your skill and level of effort, it's good enough
Yeah.
to identify 2 parts of this chair.
Okay.
This is a brain mapper. It will map all of the neural connections in your brain. The
I
back
definitely want to
and
sit in that.
seat of the chair is two things. Two things. First of all, it acts as a sort of 3D printer. It extrudes material. Second thing, it acts as a material vaporizer.
Which part is the printer and vaporizer?
The
the
back
little
and
lasers.
seat of the chair.
Are there buttons or switches or dials?
Nope. It is simply the chair with the flip.
Can I see where the wires are going up to?
The wires are going up to the roof, to the ceiling, connecting
So the base
to
plate, basically.
yeah, the antennas up top. The buzz, by the way, is a little dimmed. It was strongest when you were standing among the antenna.
Well, your thoughts, Trenton?
I want to sit in the chair. I know my
Wait,
name's
wait,
not
wait.
Trenton, but I want to sit in the chair.
I think this section is going to map your brain. I think that's a really good idea. Mapping your brain, especially with what's going on, could be really, really useful. This part will vaporize you. Don't sit in the chair. I don't know who would make something that has such diverse properties. But they have. So until we figure out how to say, map brain, don't vaporize, stay out of the chair. I think it's a really good health and safety tip.
Didn't the Nevergin say something about uploading yourself to the datasphere? But in uploading yourself to the datasphere, you have to like lose your corporeal form.
And then regenerates it when you leave, leaving behind the toxin, I think.
So
I
this
mean,
will get rid of you, send you to the data sphere in your brain form, and then recreate you in the end.
Well, I hope
I mean,
that's what this is.
I literally have no idea. But of all the things we have heard, that seems to be the thing that slightly might fit this situation. Is there any? All right, but before we worry about the chair, let's just have a scout around and make sure we're not missing something. Like, a big sign that says this is how it works.
Instructions.
Indeed.
Who
Or
reads
warning.
instructions?
Or
Can we please look for some instructions, Ed?
Under the seat.
Oh, I know. If we're like possibly at the seat of the data sphere and I've got an entity in my head, could I spend an XP to get a glimmer? That feels appropriate.
I think that is very appropriate. Sorry, I've got to mute in two different places. Yes, absolutely. And the glimmer that comes to you, this place actually is filled with glimmers, and you start to recognize them, and you feel them moving around you, and you pluck one. You yourself pluck one out of the air. You kind of open yourself up as if you were listening to a whisper. And the glimmer in the air confirms to you that this is an entrance into the datasphere. An entrance and an exit. Very important, because sometimes there are entrances and no exit. This is a hub of some sort. You don't know what it could connect to, but it will be able to connect to things in the datasphere, possibly things hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, you see Letty sort of reach out with a hand and furrow her brow, and sort of the air sort of condenses into like a little blue sort of nanite shimmer, and then she sort of like twitches a little bit and she says, "Right, this is definitely the data sphere. That's just like a whisper. Jeez, ooh, okay. This is the data sphere. This is an entrance. This is an exit. There's a possibility to go traveling, but we're right. We're correct. Ooh, that was a short weather chaser. Jeez. Hello.
Do I need to stab you with the healing dagger?
Nope, good. I'm good.
Just checking. So, Mazir, this might be what you need.
You're gonna let me go on the thing?
I mean, you're an adult. You can do what you want.
Trenton.
But we
Hold
might
on.
lose you forever.
Well, there is that concern. I have a secondary concern. You're tied to Letty. We need to break
beans.
Letty's bond first. Otherwise, God knows what will happen. Who knows where the data sphere is? You could be like billions of miles away and we'll have an exploding Letty on our hands. And I'm not dealing with that. Not today.
How about tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. No exploding Lettys.
Have I even bothered having a look at this device to see whether I can take it off?
Yes,
Have
you
I?
have quite a few times.
I think Letty, with her newfound power, reaches down and just turns the thing off.
I think that would just work.
Yes.
It would deactivate it for a round, allowing you to pull it off.
Problem solved. What? Don't know what all the fuss is about, Cleege, really, here. I think you're just overreacting.
Jailer of the year.
I formally like sort of walk up to Mazir and I proffer her the cuff.
I'm just like, great, you've got it off. No
I believe this is yours.
I suppose it is. Oh, cool. Can I go in now?
Wait 1 more minute. Letty, you have definitely earned your freedom. Welcome back to the free folk. Mazir?
Yes.
It may be strange to hear this, but I have absolutely no desire to lose you. You may be the most exasperating colleague come friend I have possibly ever come across, but
She looks genuinely confused at that. She's like, what?
but
Me?
I'm not sure that I could lose you. But as Trenton says, you are an adult, it is your choice. And I come and give you a big hug and go, if you're going, just be safe and come back. And we will wait. So don't be long.
I will try.
Okay, Mazir. You ready?
Oh, one other thing. Ciphers. Clothes. You don't want to lose pockets, do you?
I don't want to lose my pockets.
How about you give us everything that's not you, essentially.
I will hand over all of my various contraptions. Yeah. We'll just hand them over.
Cool.
Okay. Safe travels.
So I can go now. Yeah?
What was
Come
up?
back
I'm a little jealous. You're going to the data sphere. This is so
I mean, if
cool.
this works, you can just come too.
We'll see.
I'm gonna.
Look, we'll see you right back here.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna sit in the chair.
Remember to leave your thing behind when you come back.
And make sure you come back to this exit. Don't know where you'll end up if you don't.
Oh, and if we promise to be quiet, can you take your helmet off before you engage?
Okay. So, Mazia, this terribly, terribly dangerous chair in front of you.
I mean, is it though? It's fine.
I'm just telling you what it does.
Yep. She's getting in the chair. Like this
Okay.
is an exciting chair. She's gonna get in.
The top flips. The sides move in and stop a centimetre away from your head. The buzzing is deafening for a second, and then you're not there. Mazia, you're somewhere else. The rest of you see the body flop
Shit.
and start to pull apart, pulled into the back and seat of the chair until there's nothing left.
Oh my god.
That is where we're going to end this week.
No. Vaporized her.
So, do I need a new character for next session?
I'll let you know what you need to do for next session.
All right.
Oh, jeez.
That's mental.
This is hype as hell.
This is
just
one of
jealous.
my favourite bits of Numenera lore. I love it. Yeah, that's us done for this week. What a thing to end it on. I'm glad we got there. Very happy
This
you
is a
chose
chair
this
that will
one.
disintegrate into you. I'm going to go and sit in the chair.
I did tell you.
Now, hold on.
How many XP do we get, Ed? How many XP?
Oh, yes. So, you sequenced the data and took out the nanobots. That's one. You found a way to actually, stop them. You just can't do all of them. And you found this entrance to the data sphere.
That's
That's 3 XP.
Cool.
Thank you.
Does Letty get 20 for being free now?
Is it 1 XP for freeing a sentient human being?
You know, have an extra XP for freeing Letty. Letty gets that, sorry. Letty only gets
Letty
that.
has it.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
3 XP for Letty.
And I have an XP for freeing my soul from my human body.
Well, we'll find out later. And we get to ask all sorts of fun questions like, is it you? Is it just a simulacrum of you?
Yeah.
We get to go into existentialism. We get to go into Ship of Theseus. Fun. Proper sci-fi.
Monday.
We're well out of fantasy now. Anyway,
Cool. Thank you.
I
so
hope that
much.
was fun.
That was great.
Great.
Good. Okay, now I've
I
got
didn't make any notes during those last 20 minutes, and I'm having to quickly write down. I was like, oh no, otherwise I'm gonna forget.
Well, luckily, it's all recorded.
No.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Oh, is there a YouTube or something?
Oh, well, as it turns out,
I did notice there was
segue.
one uploaded today on YouTube. It was last week's episode.
Yes, that's because I forgot to do it after last week's episode last week. I'll remember to set it up this week, honestly. Normally they go up on Thursdays, this game. But yeah, no, go, have a look at our YouTube and come and join us on the Discord if you're not already there. We've got one more... Actually, a load of our games have finished now. So we've only got us and D&D at the moment.
Yes.
So come back on Friday to watch some D&D because Lancer finished yesterday. I think on Wednesday, Lancer's going to go up on YouTube, the finale. So go and have a look at that when it comes up. Other than that,
But there is a new stream coming soon on a Thursday. Not quite sure exactly when it will start, but it is coming soon.
yes.
Stay tuned for more information.
Yes.
It's a little
Not
way off
tonight.
yet, but we get to tease it here. I'm sure it's been teased before, but exclusive tease here. I think that's everything. We'll do a raid after we go off stream, so stick around for that. Otherwise, anything else
next
anyone
week.
needs to say?
I might not be here next week.
Okay.
Sorry.
We will
Terrible
organise.
timing.
We will organise. But yes, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. Hope it's been a fun one. Sorry for all the construction noises. I think they've stopped now, of course.
20 minutes of construction.
Yeah, I think they've been setting up for the full time we've been playing, and then they just testing stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Sounded like they were breaking through my wall there for a second.
Nice.
11 o'clock, Jesus.
Yep, but they stopped. They stop at 11. I've had it before. They stop at 11. So
Nice.
anyway, that's us done. That's us done. So I will actually say goodbye, and I will say thank you for watching. Thank you for playing.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.